afternoon. Happy Tuesday, Nasties. Welcome to EST Afternoons. Joaquin, Gage, Hernan, Salas, and the birthday boy, Zach to come. A big happy birthday to him. I'm a little mad at him right now, so we're not going to bring him on just yet.
Oh, my God.
It's 1:04. How you doing out there? You want to listen to us? Hit up EdmontonSportsTalk.com, iHeart, or the TuneIn radio apps. If you want to watch us, bring us... just click on the YouTube, Edmonton Sports Talk and EST Afternoons. And if you want to connect, hit us up on the Nasty Chat or 780-218-9999 is the number you will text. We're coming to you live from the William Huff Studios here in the west end of the city. Today on the show, it's a busy one, Gager.
Yeah,
and we've decided we're not going to do any Oilers today. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. So what do you guys want to talk about? NFL, CFL, UFC. The World Series can be wrapped up tonight, but
that's big.
Yeah, huge.
That is
huge
because
really then we can rub it in Matty Iwanik's
thank God.
Face.
You know, he was so arrogant and confident last week in the hangout, talking about his beloved Yankees. How he said they were, that little team that could,
yeah,
just
pour them.
Yeah, just a team without the funds to get by, and
oh boy,
it was
it's tragic.
It is. It's tragic that that no other team has a chance, though.
I know.
It's whatever. I mean, it truly is best on best, I guess. Aaron Judge, interesting. Hey, the judge has not ruled in his favor so far in this.
He has not. On the show today, 120 highlights, lowlights, and it's gonna be an ugly one, guys. So make sure you're watching for that because you'll get the full scope of it, and it's gonna be a fun one. At 140, it's the Heat and Smoke segment brought to you by no one. We're gonna have 3 questions for the Coob and Joaquin Gage. At 2:05, Beau Akey, Oilers prospect and defenseman for the Barrie Colts. It'll be cool to catch up with him. He didn't participate in any games or in the Young Stars tournament, but he is playing down there for Barrie, so we're going to get just a quick update from him, what his time was like in his first 2 camps with the Edmonton Oilers and all that fun stuff. And at 2:25, our good buddy, fresh off the ice in practice, Jason Strudwick, will join us to talk all things Edmonton Oilers. And, of course, we're going to talk Edmonton Oilers, Gager.
Yes.
We have to. They're coming off an absolutely embarrassing 6-1 loss. No excuses. I'm done with excuses for this team. And then the biggest story is Connor McDavid, injured 37 seconds in, flew to Nashville with the team last night, and then chartered to Edmonton by himself. He'll be evaluated here in Edmonton, and we should have news in about 24 hours or so, according to many reports out there. Gager, where do you want to start here? Because both were huge losses in my eyes.
Yeah, obviously the first shift of the game, your star player goes down, but I mean, we've been talking about this in the bullpen and around the viewing area here at EST, and I think the consensus is, I mean, if this is a different team looking at it, totally different situation. Edmonton Oilers are too deep to have, even with a player of Connor McDavid, I think they are still a team that are capable of putting together a good winning streak, and they're going to have to. I think you're going to learn a lot about this team. This could be a true galvanizing moment where, and you've heard, how many times do you hear hockey players in scrums? It's the next guy up, right? And that's the kind of attitude. Doesn't matter who it is. Very difficult to fill the shoes of a Connor McDavid, but no, I look at that lineup. This is the reason why I think they went out and got some of these players to guard against injuries throughout the regular season. I think it becomes, I don't know what you think, Hernan, but I think it becomes a little bit of a easier decision making for Coach Nobla with the lines,
Well, yeah, because you're not going to the one thing you always go to. Now you have to get creative. Now, and I don't want to get to lines just yet. We're going to say that for Heat and Smoke. But, Gager, I think for me the most concerning part was your captain goes down. You knew he wasn't coming back. You know that on the bench, right? Early on. instead of this team kind of grabbing that moment and say, let's go get one for our captain, it's almost like they made the decision right there and then to be like, yeah, let's just get in and out of here and go party in Nashville tomorrow night because we're off. But that's what it seemed like. There was no interest in that game to compete at any level.
No, there definitely was not. Surprising that there wasn't a little bit of a pushback because there was nothing. And I said this before. I'm critical on Stuart Skinner because that was a great opportunity for him to just have a really good period. Whether he takes a couple goals away, I didn't like the third goal.
Yeah.
I've seen him make those types of saves before. I know they're very difficult plays to stop that puck, but I've seen him do it. And I just looking to see what Pickard accomplished in the first period against the Detroit Red Wings, where, look, man, without some of those saves, it's the same type of situation as the game against the Jackets. The Oilers would have found themselves, they were already down, but found themselves kind of with the game basically out of reach after 20 minutes,
Yeah, and
or they would have to do something very special to get back in that game.
Trying to just gather my thoughts here because
This might take a while.
I just don't know how you can be that flat. How this team continually has games like this and starts. Don't get me wrong, Gager. Great teams have nights off throughout the season, right? There's about 4 or 5 where you just get your butt kicked. We all get that. But this team constantly, look at 4-5-1. That's not good enough for this team. This team is supposed to be competing for a cup. Let me give you a few stats. Goals for, they're in 30th. Goals against, 25th. Power play, 27th. PK, last. Pickard, 875 goals against. He's 49th in the league. Skinner, 872 save percentage, 54th in the league. No goals by Arvidsson, Nurse, Hyman, Janmark, Derek Ryan, Podkolzin, just to name a few. Only 6 players are at 0 or plus players on this team, Gager. And this team is supposed to compete for a Stanley Cup?
Yeah, no. The Reed was actually saying he predicted a slow start to the Oilers in the first 10 games. October, he said, wasn't going to be good. And, another talking point that we were discussing was is there a Stanley Cup hangover? They say everyone's moved on, but they're not playing they're playing like a team that's, by looking at them and taking in all these first 10 games, this is a team that seems like they're saving themselves for something else. There's a lot they're reserving a lot of extra energy, say that they think they might need later on. But look, that's not a switch. That's a consistent way of playing hockey to make it difficult for the other teams to play against. And if you did the egg test last night, where you're putting eggs in a lot of the pants of the Edmonton Oilers, they're coming out full. And
later
you can fry them. They're not hard boiled.
Later might not matter, because if this team's mentality is it's October. And don't get me wrong, I was kind of with Reed where I thought this team might have a slow start because of the Stanley Cup hangover. I get that, right?
Yeah.
But Florida doesn't. Vegas didn't the last year. Colorado didn't the year they went. Florida didn't last year when they went to the finals and got their butt kicked by the Vegas Golden Knights.
But the Panthers were, the way they lost, completely different than the Edmonton Oilers, I think. Oilers had a full roster. You look back when the Panthers lost to the Avalanche. Who's the Avalanche?
No, Vegas.
Vegas, sorry.
Yeah.
There was Kachuk couldn't shoot, right?
Yeah.
There was Uyghur was on it. He was injured. I think they're on their back end. There was another huge injury that basically he couldn't even walk. So there was almost those kind of built in. We just weren't healthy. There was no way that we could compete against the the Vegas Golden Knights with the current injuries that we had. Moving to the Edmonton Oilers, they were healthy. You know, there was no reason why. I mean, there's the bumps and bruises, and we don't know exactly what some of the long term. There was a lot of guys that needed time off afterwards, but that's par for the course. But no, it was. I think the way that they lost might have affected them a little bit more mentally than it did with the Florida Panthers. It was Ekblad. Ekblad was the guy.
They were due. I mean, they didn't have a lot of injuries last year. They were able to get out of a dark hole they were in October, November. And I've been saying it's not going to happen exactly like last year. This team's got to find a way. I'm done with certain players with excuses. Nurse is on that list. Nuge is on that list. They just got to be better. The guy that's getting close to that is Stuart Skinner. And listen, I'm not saying all 6 goals were Stuart Skinner's fault. It wasn't even close, because we're going to see in lowlights, highlights and lowlights, how bad this team was defensively, how disinterested they were, Gage, in their own end. And you're going to be blown away about how bad they were. So I'm not blaming it all on Stuart Skinner, but can we stop with, well, he can't stop that? What makes goalies great, Gager?
The ability to take goals away from the other team in crucial moments.
Okay, Skinner doesn't do that. It's always an excuse. Well, but look at the shot. Look at backdoor.
I know it's inconsistent when he does it. That's the thing. He's capable of doing it, and I still trust that he can, but he has to be like. I watched a little bit of the Jets lost, you know, and so they were due to lose. But even in some of those games, there were times when they shouldn't have been in that game, but relied heavily on Connor Hellebuck. And I'm not saying that Stuart Skinner's Hellebuck, but he can be Hellebuck for a period when they need him.
Yeah, he was that against Pittsburgh in the third.
Yeah, that's where he needed to. That's where he needed to be. And I know what you're saying, and I agree with you to a point that you're tired of, he didn't have it. You're the goalie. You're supposed to stop. I mean, if it's constant backdoor tap-ins,
of course.
But he's still in a position where there is a possibility that he could have made that save, right? If he's completely out of it, then whatever. But, he has to take, not all of it from last night, but I think, like I said, I think there was an opportunity for him to be a difference maker in that game, and it was that first period. If they get out of that 1-0, maybe, or if it's 0-0, I think the Oilers are in a better position to win that game. And
this is on the core now. This should be unacceptable in that room, and I hope it is, because when you hear him talk post game, it doesn't seem like it's just whatever. Gager, Stuart Skinner's a big part now, especially with McDavid. Who knows how long he's going to be out? We'll find out tomorrow at some point. But Stuart Skinner, I'm putting him up there right there with Ekholm and Nuge and Leon. He's that important.
Of course, he's the goaltender, man. You don't win without. Well, name one team that's winning with poor goaltending.
Because I find 2 extremes. The people at the LRT chanting Skinner sucks, which is stupid. And then the people that think he can't do no wrong and it's never his fault. No, he's shown he can be an elite goaltender, but it's small sample sizes, right, Gager?
Yes.
And he shows some nights he's off, and it's a little too consistent for a team that's supposed to be contending for the Stanley Cup. You nailed it yesterday right away. You said he doesn't look good because he wasn't tracking. Pucks were going by him, and he was still looking the other way. He was not in it yesterday.
No. I mean, you could say that for a lot of those guys. It was
well, all of them.
There was no one dialed in except for Calvin Pickard.
I picked Troy Stetcher as my player of the game because I had to pick someone, and the only reason I picked him is because he was the only defenseman that wasn't a minus. I would have picked McDavid, but he only played 37 seconds.
Yeah,
that might have been a little bit better. But Gager, I'm a little concerned about I was concerned with McDavid on this team, how poor they're playing. They can't move the puck. They don't hit anything.
No, that's everyone can hit. I shouldn't say everyone can hit. Hitting's difficult. It's a fast game. But everyone has the ability to play a little bit more physical. And there's too many passengers on the physical side of the game.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's frustrating. And the post-game show was buzzing last night. People were pretty and no one gets a pass. This is not a Stuart Skinner thing. Like I said, no one was good. No one. And I'm not blaming Skinner for the 6 goals. Maybe 2 or 3 you would like for him to have back, but the team in front of him was complete garbage. There's nothing else we can add to the now we wait news on Mr. Captain Connor McDavid. Hopefully it's not too long. But before we get to break, this might be the best thing for this team, Gage. And that's a weird thing to say.
Is it bad that I am looking really forward to the next few games with what I think is going to be sans Connor McDavid? I can't wait to see how this team how they react and reply to not having their captain in the lineup. I think too many times that they're like, we got Connor. He'll probably get a couple.
He'll get us out of here.
He'll get us out of this. Let's see what happens. Let's see who steps to the forefront. I really want to see Leon Draisaitl become either that Sidney Crosby or Evgeny Malkin from 2010 or 11, where I think Sid was hurt or vice versa, and the other guy just went nuts. Like he just basically willed his team into a playoff spot and kept them competitive until their other superstar came back.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. Portions of this hour brought to you by the Canadian Brewhouse. Book your holiday party at the CBH today, your ultimate destination for events, parties, fundraisers, and more. 'Tis the season to celebrate. Visit and book now at thecanadianbrewhouse.com. And Gager, even without McDavid, this team is still a playoff team. This team should still be at the top. There's no excuses. I'm not using this as an excuse. No more.
No. There is no, looking at that lineup, can you tell me, looking at it, that even without McDavid, that this team isn't a playoff team?
Yeah.
You're huffing that bag of glue. This is a playoff team.
It is. But for me, if you want to win a cup, I think you need an upgrade in the decor. I think that goes without saying. I'm not breaking any news here.
There's a definite disconnect in the communication in the defensive zone from forwards, defense, and goaltenders. Yeah. They're completely on the wrong page. And I know we got to go here, but Gas alluded to it. You look at analytics for past performances, and it's the reason why it makes sense. And they're in the basement in all categories.
Yeah. And we talked about hits. I'm not saying hits, this team has to lead the league in hits, because I think they're
going to have the puck a lot more.
They have the puck. But what I'm saying is, when I'm talking about hitting, it's just being more physical. This team is easy to play against.
They should have more turnovers and takeaways than anyone else.
Yes. It's not so much the hits. Like, I'm not asking for them to have 60 hits a night, but just be more physical, be more engaged. Like, you shouldn't be sitting towards the bottom in hits, because it does lead to turnovers.
Yeah.
We got to get to break. Coming up next, make sure you're tuning into us on the YouTube so you can watch the videos. Warning, it's not going to be good. It's going to be tough to watch, but we'll learn from it. We'll be better for it. And highlights, lowlights is coming up next here on EST Afternoons. Joaquin, Gage, Hernan, Salas. But first up, here's a sports update with the birthday boy, Zach Kubish.
There's a 5-game slate in the NHL, including the Senators facing off against the Blues, the Kraken meeting the Canadiens, and the Flyers battling the Bruins. After that, the Rangers match up with the Caps before the Kings and Sharks duke it out from San Jose. And it's a 4-game slate in the NBA, opening up with the Nuggets and the Nets, along with the Mavericks visiting Minnesota to take on the Timberwolves. For the Raptors, Scotty Barnes will be out for tomorrow's game while he continues medical assessment on his right eye after taking an elbow late in the fourth quarter last night and missing overtime against the Nuggets. Down south, Stephon Diggs will miss the remainder of the season for the Bills after tearing his ACL on Sunday. Elsewhere, Deontay Johnson is being traded from the Carolina Panthers to the Baltimore Ravens, marking the second time he's been traded this year. And the Colts bench Anthony Richardson to name Joe Flacco as this week's starter. For the World Series, the Dodgers have the Yankees on the brink of elimination with a chance to win it all tonight from New York. Right after the break, EST Afternoons continues with Hernan, Salas, and Joaquin, Gage. I'm Zachary Kubish, and that was your Sports Update.
Ready for an unforgettable sports experience? It's the EST Fly Away to LA, presented by the 780. Listen daily for the EST flyaway keyword. Once you hear it, text us at 780-218-9999 for your chance to qualify to fly to LA. Round trip flights for 2, hotel and car rentals, all to go see Edmonton face off against either LA or Anaheim. Plus, experience the brand new Intuit Dome as the Clippers tip off against the Warriors, and top it all off with the Rams kicking off against the Cardinals at SoFi Stadium. This is more than just a trip. This is the ultimate sports experience. The EST Flyaway to LA, presented by the 780 and Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Since 1952, William Huff has been the heartbeat of Edmonton's advertising world. From humble beginnings to a citywide powerhouse, we've been the go-to for signage from print to design and installation. Partnering with Edmonton's top sports franchises and major events, we've helped shape the city's global reputation. Our secret, unmatched customer service, decades of experience, and a passion for excellence we call the William Huff Advantage. Visit us online at williamhuff.com.
You want the heavy hitters on your team, both on and off the ice. If you've been injured in a car accident, call the heavy hitters of Injury Law. James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers. With over 200 years of combined injury law experience, their precedent-setting lawyers are ready to help. Locally owned and proud Edmonton Oiler fans, James H. Brown and Associates wants to support you with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, head to jameshbrown.com.
It's 126. Welcome back to EST Afternoons here on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. 31 thumbs up already in the first segment. Let's go. Let's keep it going. Let's hit 100 once again. Let's do it for Connor McDavid's leg.
Let's just get 97. I think that's a good one.
Oh, 97.
Let's get 97 likes.
97 likes
for the quick healing process
by 2 p.m. And that's
he'll
going to be
he'll be good to go for Thursday.
That'll be good juju for Mr. Connor McDavid. Let's do it for the captain. Hey,
Right.
What do you think of the decorations?
Very festive around here. It's it's coming up Thursday.
Yes.
Can't wait for Thursday's show. Yeah.
It's gonna be fun.
Can't wait.
Can't wait. It's gonna
Trev did an excellent job.
Did Trev do this?
I think so. I think that was the deal. Maddie did the hangout decorations, and then Trev got to do the main studio. But don't quote me on that. It looks great, though.
Penner's Pancakes. This is going to be a punishing segment. It is. And Coobs, if we can bring up the video that says CBJ on it first. So what I did, Gager, I put the last 5 goals all together in a how do you say it? In
Compilation?
yes.
Compilation.
And we're just going to go through them and just look and comment. I'll try to do it as quick as I can. But then I selected one goal, Gager, where I'm going to show you one player and then all 4 players because we know it's a goal. And I just want to get your thoughts on it, all right?
Okay.
So here is, the Oilers lost 6-1 last night. Outside of the first goal, here are the 5 goals the Oilers allowed. And let's just look at, this is what a disinterested team looks like. There's the second one from Fantilli, Skinner late. Here, simple point shot. Look where the player is. No one around him. This one, Emberson, puck battle lost. Too easy. Then it's 3v2. Everybody's coasting to the front of the net until it is potted home by fourth liner Olivier. This one, this is the one we're going to get to after in a single still shot because it bugs me a lot. But Sillinger there, and then the young man with his first NHL goal. Backdoor. You can't blame Skinner on this one. This one's equally as bad. And then Emerson just gets out-muscled, doesn't know what he's doing, probably doesn't even know the player's there. So that's ugly, Gager.
Yeah, it's very ugly. It's just a readiness not to play. I see. So the first 2, I think there's a possibility that Stuart Skinner gets one of those ones. Third one, I do not like.
No.
The third one is like, you can see him. He is not prepared
No.
one bit for that. And I know there's someone in front, but like I'm looking at it right now. It's just, he is not prepared for that shot at all. And it catches him completely off guard. I tell young goalies all the time, if I'm working with them, you do not relax. You are laser focused until that puck goes out of the blue line. No, and if you can't find it. Yeah. Like, there's no excuse for not being able to track the puck all the way back up to the point. Yeah. You have to do a way better job of looking over guys, and he's just sitting way too far back in the net, first of all, and not anticipating a quick shot.
Yeah, Coop, we can just come back to us for a quick. But those 5 goals show me one thing: a disinterest, lack of awareness. Like, no one knows where they are, Gager, on a lot of those goals. You're late. There's no hustle. And like you said, on one, Skinner doesn't look like he's ready in that one. So that's just, for a team that's a Stanley Cup contender, Gager, that's disturbing to watch.
The fact that in most cases of all those goals, and even kind of the third one, there's an Oilers player, or possibly even 2 Oilers players standing right next to the guy who scores the goal.
No tying up sticks, nothing. No physicality.
It's hey man, I hate to be completely negative on a lot of these things, but man, that was a stinker. That was just not willing to do anything on the defensive side of the puck. If they played, I mean, the Blue Jackets look good, but they were allowed to be good. But if they played like, I don't know, say like Florida or the Rangers, that game gets way out of hand, right? That's 9-10-0 if you're going to play that way against a team that plays the right way. So, I mean, you're going to have games when everyone doesn't show up, but usually, I'm trying to think. It'll be good to ask Struddy this too, because he'll know of some stinker games that his whole team had been a part of, and those types of games you just throw in the trash, right?
Oh,
but they usually don't happen 10 games in. Those are those games, and you get closer to Christmas or
January.
After January, you just there's just a game where everyone just stinks, and you just kind of forget it. Let's move on. But for that to happen game 10, when the whole situation of what this team has learned over the past 2 seasons about their starts and what they had to do to get back into it, you would expect a better effort, because sometimes even the effort's there and it just goes wrong for you, and you have a stinker game and it just doesn't work out. The effort level is what is the most puzzling to me, because I'm not going to say everyone tries, but it just seemed like there was the effort level wasn't even there.
No. So we're going to tee up this next goal. It's I think his name is Putia. Yeah.
Tommy.
Yeah. Before we get to it, I'm going to watch Enrique in the middle. There's no effort to stick check or even put a body on the guy coming across. And then we're going to stop it. And Gager, you're going to tell me something you've told me in a lot of the losses so far. So let's run it. So there's Adam Enrique. He's going to go in the red. Okay. Sillinger gets the puck. Look at this effort. No stick, no body. Look at that. He skates right by him.
Yeah.
And then right here, where's everybody looking, Gager?
Right at that magical little good-looking, that puck sometimes. It's like the green M&M. So hot.
Like Podkolzin and Ekholm have no idea who's behind them. And then the puck goes through Ekholm's leg. Podkolzin is far too late, and it's an easy backdoor goal. You don't put this one on Skinner. But it is amazing to me how Enrique at that blue line didn't even attempt a stick check or put his body towards him. He just kind of skated by him and said, let's see what happens.
You got to trust your players at this point, buddy. Stuart Skinner probably shoulder checks, sees that there's 3 of his teammates on the backside, so you're not really thinking that that you have to worry about that, right? So he's doing what his job is. He's taken away the puck carrier. Like, the shooter isn't going to score there, and even the ability to get it back out in front at this point. And again, lack of communication.
That's
The
good.
bench should be screaming
Yeah.
right now.
Backdoor.
Backside.
Yeah.
And it's just everyone looking right at that beautiful little black thing and going, ooh, that looks so good. And, just a complete lapse. I mean, all five looking straight at the puck carrier.
Yeah.
No one shoulder checks.
No.
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
It is amazing because I could say that I play like an NHL player when I see a clip like that. Because that's exactly what I looked like when I was playing Tier 6 hockey. And I know these guys are pro play. This has happened multiple times this season where they're just puck chasing. It's glorious. It's like a cat looking for catnip or something. That's the only thing they see, the only thing they want. And I don't know, at this level for that to happen, it made sense that the Oilers lost 6-1 against the Blue Jackets last night. It's very bad. And I don't like ripping into a team, but like to the Blue Jackets, man, and seeing plays like that, it's
disheartening.
Yeah.
And
it is amazing.
And you know what's crazy though? That the Blue Jackets weren't even dominating that game.
No, they didn't have to.
It was 3 goals on 6 shots, 4 on 10.
Yeah, it was given to them. Man.
Yeah. That's
Absolutely given to them. So
Kev Sir says, not sure why anyone thought this Oilers team was going to be better this season. So many downgrades. And I agree that the D-Corps did not improve. I thought up front they did, and goaltending was the same to me. So, yeah, I was a little concerned about the D-Corps. Penner's Pancake says, Emerson had a rough game for sure. He sure did. Lars Weiss says, wow, haven't had a chance to see those. Yuck. Look like a bunch of first-timers. Hope Leon's birthday party was worth it. This one says, I heard his party was lit. It was Leon's birthday. Who knows what the boys got up to, but hey man, and I think Belzy said it the best. That's what hockey teams do. On the road, they get a day off, they party. And there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody does it. But show up.
yeah, I distinctly remember Slats come in one time. This is when I was first with Edmonton, and he was like, I don't care what you do. Drugs, drinking, whatever your vices are, but when you show up here, you practice hard and you play hard, right? And obviously the two don't really match, but he was just saying, yeah, if you're gonna burn the candle at both ends, you got to make sure that you play well. And whether that was a Leon Draisaitl birthday bash that caused the Oilers to play that way,
Could be.
could be. I mean, I remember I played. I think we lost at home to the Senators, and we had our Halloween party like 2 days before, I think it was, and I was kind of worried because I knew I was playing that game. I go, okay, we got a couple days, and it wasn't our best performance at home, but I can't say it was completely terrible.
Yeah. No, like you got to show up, right? You have to show up. I was going to, Maddie39 says, Oilers are old and slow. Oilers are an old, slow team that doesn't want to play physical. The excuse is they have played a lot of hockey the last few years. We need some hungry players to add some give a crap. I mean, that to me is BS because look at Tampa, look at Florida, look at Vegas, Colorado, always there, Gage. Always.
Look at the Pittsburgh game. What was the biggest difference? Did the Edmonton Oilers all of a sudden get faster? Part of it was the Pittsburgh Penguins weren't. They probably had some sort of party too. It's by the looks of it, but they looked fast, and one of the reasons is their decision making with the puck was quick. They did everything fast.
Yeah,
and that's what makes a team fast, right? It's not just straight line speed and things like that. There's a lot of players that have that with the Edmonton Oilers. I think it's just executing at a higher level is what makes them quick.
Yeah, this one comes in from Hersey. Hernan, can we discuss the whole thing about trading for players and get across to people that they have nothing to trade for other players and no one is giving them a second pair D-man for a first-round pick? Doesn't matter how much cap space they have. Well, you're not getting a top 4 right now. And I know Drager said on the morning show with the boys that Stan Bowman's working the phones. Well, thanks. Yeah, you should.
If he's not, geez, get Holland back. Man, this guy,
I could have told you that.
Yeah, he should constantly have a headset on, right? It's just going.
He's like Ari Gold, 2 phones going, man.
No, that's and I gotta I hate that Holland got a bad rap here. Like 5-year plan, GM, they get to the finals. They lose to the Stanley Cup champion 3 years in a row. He did a masterful job when he was here. Is it all perfect? No, but it's exactly what you want. He was 2 goals away from winning a Stanley Cup, right?
Yeah.
In that 5-year time frame.
Hell yeah.
And Bowman and Jeff Jackson have taken over, have a different view, I think, of how they see what is going to make this team successful. I think they gambled a little bit too much. Obviously, hindsight's always 20/20, and offense is sexy. But if they were looking to unload CC anyways, proper decision making should have been done to lock up at least Broberg. Although now, reading what he had to say, I don't think he was going to re-sign anyway. But the D should have been taken care of.
I think people, because they got glowing remarks and reviews in the offseason. They did.
Because
offense
is awesome.
Yeah, and then Stan Bowman, it took a dip because it was controversial and for good reason. And then the offer sheet stuff put a bad taste into the fans' mouth. But before that, everybody loved Jeff Jackson.
Well, yeah, they were almost giving him what is it? It's not the Jack. I forget the name of the GM of the Year award, but they were giving it to him for the next year in the summertime, right? With what he was able to do. And look, I liked what he did too, but as the summer went on, and I think the view was to kind of squeeze those 2 guys. Yeah. And they didn't have any foresight to say, is anyone really going to throw some and I'm sure now GMs are all going to be looking at this, right? Okay, who's vulnerable? What are we going to have to do if we want to keep these guys or not? Or do we use them now as assets and get rid of them, right? I think there should have been, if they knew that, like, and I'm kind of going off here, but if they knew that Philip Broberg didn't want to come back, they should have, right?
They should have traded him.
They should have gotten rid of him. Yeah. Like, not just hold on or maybe that was the plan to try to sign him, and it would have been easier to trade him at that point. But if you have a guy doesn't want to come back, something has to be done sooner rather than later.
All right, coming up next, Heat and Smoke. I'll have 3 questions for the fellas here for the birthday boy, Zach Kubish. He is 21. He is legal everywhere now, and he's going to party tonight. And we'll get an update on how his birthday's going, what he's going to do, what's going to be for supper and all that. Of course, the EST flyaway to LA will come up in the second hour as well. Might do it a little bit earlier too, maybe, but that's coming up, of course, proudly presented by the 780. And we're at only 43 thumbs up. You're not letting Joaquin and Hernan down. You're letting down Connor McDavid, Gager.
I don't. If thumbs up, it's not a big deal to me, but it is to Connor McDavid.
If we get 97, I swear it's going to be good juju for tomorrow's news on Connor McDavid of how long he will be out. We'll continue the Oiler talk, of course. Beau Akey coming up in the second hour, as well as Jason Strudwick. But next up, Heat and Smoke. 3 questions on EST Afternoons. Joaquin, Gage, Hernan, Salas. Here is the birthday boy with your sports update.
The NHL has 7 games, including the Rangers against the Caps, the Wild with the Penguins, and the Ducks battling the Islanders. We also got the Flyers facing the Bruins and the Blues meeting the Senators. Over in basketball, the Nets tip off with the Nuggets. The Timberwolves see the Mavericks, and the Kings head to Utah to take on the Jazz. After that, it's Steph Curry and the Warriors hosting the Pelicans. And for tomorrow's game, the Raptors will miss Scotty Barnes in their game against the Hornets, with Barnes having his right eye checked out after being elbowed in the face yesterday. Over in the NFL, Stephon Diggs has torn his ACL, sidelining him for the remainder of the season, while the Ravens went out and acquired Deontay Johnson from the Carolina Panthers. This week, Joe Flacco gets the start for the Colts, while rookie Anthony Richardson gets seated to the bench. The PWHL looks to expand for next season, and cities like Philadelphia, Washington, Detroit, and Quebec City are potential candidates for new teams. In the World Series, could end tonight. The Dodgers having a 3-0 lead over the Yankees as they play tonight from New York. Right after the break, it's Heat and Smoke here on EST Afternoons. I'm Zachary Kubish, and I'm keeping you up to date.
Wake up with the Nielsen Show with Dustin Nielsen and Lieutenant Eric. Weekday mornings 6 to 9 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Book your holiday party at the CBH today. The Canadian Brewhouse is your ultimate destination for events, parties, fundraisers, and more. 'Tis the season to celebrate. Visit and book now in-store or at the Canadian...
Your brand deserves more than just a whisper, it deserves a buzz. At the Hive Product Marketing, they specialize in promotional products that bring the buzz. From eye-catching giveaways to unforgettable keepsakes, they got the perfect products to make your brand stand out and get noticed. Visit the Hive Product Marketing and let them create the buzz your business deserves. The Hive Product Marketing, the official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Talk. Visit them online at thehiveproductmarketing.com.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching the button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki with like a giant eagle's wings and singing lead vocals for Leonard Skinner with like an angel band. And I'm in the crowd hammered drunk. Park Mazda, your dealer for life insurance.
1:46. Welcome back to EST Afternoons here on Edmonton Sports Talk. A lot of Oilers conversation on a very bad loss last night and the loss of their captain. No update yet. We should send someone to the airport to track this, though, eh?
Yeah, I've got people there. They haven't got back to me.
I mean, we did it for Kawhi. We did it for Ohtani. How can we not do it for McDavid?
Yeah, crazy.
It's absolutely crazy. Keep the conversation going on the Nasty Chat and text us 780-218-9999. Beau Akey, Jason Strudwick in the second hour. And, of course, another qualifier for the EST Flyaway to LA, which is proudly presented by the 780. Let's get to the Heat and Smoke segment brought to you by...
Nobody right now, but we're looking.
We're Hernan or Joaquin at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. All right, boys. Question number one. With McDavid out for the near future, we don't know yet, but let's assume he's missing 2 to 3 games, whatever it is, minimum 2. What does your top 6 look like for the Edmonton Oilers?
Oh, that's a good one, buddy. I think what I will do is I think I'm moving. Gosh, this is okay. It's completely in a blender here. I think I go Draisaitl with Skinner and Arvidsson.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I have Nugent Hopkins in the middle with Hyman and maybe Podkolzin, I guess. I like the fourth line. I think you should keep them together. Ryan Perry and Janmark. Just Nuge comes back into the middle. And then Henrique
Brown
with Brown and someone's going to have to. Then I got to pull someone up, right? Yeah. So Henrique, Brown, and maybe Janmark goes back up.
It's not that easy, right? I was looking at it today,
and I'm trying to see who comes up, and we're not completely sure.
Let's say
possibly Philp.
Let's say it's Philp, but you still have 4 centers though.
I know, but it's nice to have 2, even though they're centers. Nice to have 2 centers on a line, right? Just if they get into face-off trouble. Maybe I need a little bit more time.
Okay, Zach, you got a top 6 here you would roll out with the absence of Connor McDavid?
Man, this is I don't know. It's a challenge because I mean there's so many ways you could try and just throw whatever at the board and hope it sticks if McDavid is gone for 1 or 2 games or however much. But of course, Dry moves up to that first line. You don't want to load the first line heavy like Hyman, Draisaitl, and Skinner is what I have written down. But maybe, oh boy, like it's hard. Maybe shift a Connor Brown up with Stuart Skinner and Draisaitl, and then on that second line you have Arvidsson with Nuge in the middle and Hyman. That's 2 right-handed shots, but like to try and even out give some love to each line and then kind of mix and jumble up whichever way down on the bottom 6. But I guess I got to go with Brown, Skinner, Draisaitl on that first line, and then like I said, Hyman with Nuge in the middle and Victor Arvidsson on that second one.
It's interesting though. That's good because you're thinking way outside the box, which I like. Which Connor Brown moving up. I like your first line, Dry, Arvidsson, Skinner. Just go back to it.
I think they should go back to it. It's just the flop. Do you keep your Nuge and Henrique down the middle, right?
Because I was thinking, okay, and I might take some heat for this, but Nuge, Hyman, Perry to start.
Yeah, I was thinking Perry too.
But I also like, someone texted this in, Nuge, Enrique, Hyman, and then Noah Philp takes that spot.
That's what I kind of had, yeah.
Let us know. Text us, 780-218-9999, or on the Nasty Chat. What is your top 6 heading into Thursday? Assuming that let's just assume it's Noah Philp.
Okay.
Center. He's going to jump in. He's going to, I kind of like that Enrique, Hyman, Nuge.
Yeah.
Because Nuge sucks at faceoffs.
Actually, he's been a lot better.
He's been a lot better, but I almost like it better than Perry. Because Perry's good in the bottom 6.
Yeah, no.
And Enrique's kind of gone quiet here, so I like that one.
Yeah,
I would have moved Connor Brown up. I do like your creativity, though, Zach. I like, because Connor Brown was a guy that when they brought him here last year was supposed to be in the top 6.
Yeah, so do you go Brown, Nugent Hopkins, and Hyman?
That could be it too, man.
You know, he just pops up into there, move Nuge into the middle, Brown goes left, and then you can move Janmark up with Henrique and Skinner, Draisaitl, Albertson. Well, there's Bud Coles in there now, but maybe that's, I don't know.
That's a tough one. Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see the lines at practice tomorrow. Or they probably, they'll skate tomorrow, right? Yeah.
This one says Dry, Skinner, Hyman, Nuge, Arvidsson. I don't like that because Arvidsson hasn't played with either of those guys, so you're already starting with not a lot of chemistry.
Maybe it's time.
Nuge moves to center and Perry comes up. That's what I said, Northside Sandwich.
Yeah.
That's what I said. Because then Noah Philp will slide into your 4th. You move up Derek Ryan if you move up Enrique. Keep Nuge on the wing. Do you prefer Nuge on the wing or at center?
I don't. I like him playing with another center.
Okay.
Because Nuge has the ability to play essentially that 200-foot game, right? If a lot of times positions do switch, and he's able to do both, right? So he's not unaccustomed to playing center, which I think a lot of times helps those lines having when he does play with McDavid, that's because they're both centermen.
I got a good one here. Who is the better second line center, Nuge or Enrique? That's a good question.
It's good. I think you both want them to be scratching that elite status of centers. They're both very, very intelligent hockey players. I think Nuge might have a little bit of how he gets around the ice, a little bit over Rico.
Yeah.
But those two guys should be able to provide not only good, solid defense and shutting down other big centers on other teams, but also contributing way more than they have so far offensively this year.
Yeah, keep the conversation going. Snarstack says, with this D, maybe 11-7 is the way to go. I'd go the opposite because of how bad this D is. I don't want 7 of them playing.
No,
in the
no,
same
you
game.
want at least them trying to get like some sort of rhythm too, right?
Yeah. Okay. We got to move on, but we'll revisit this after Beau Akey. I keep sending them in. What will your top 6 look like? It looks like the biggest decision, and for many of our listeners, it's between Nuge and Enrique, which is a fascinating conversation. We're going to go to the CFL for question number 2. If you're the Elks this offseason, would you sign Trey Ford or a big free agent, alas, Vernon Adams Jr., Bo Levi Mitchell, Jake Mayer, if he's available? What way would you go? I know which way I would go, but I want to hear from you. Zach, maybe we'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks because Trey Ford has kind of been, I feel like he's been given the short end of the stick this season, and of course, having to really kind of play back up and be thrown into those situations where you're already in a losing game. And I just don't think they gave him the full opportunity. Didn't really hand him the reins, hand him the keys, whichever way you want to say it. It all comes down to the same thing. He wasn't given the opportunity, and almost, to me, does Trey Ford even want to come back to this team? And that's all dependent. What was it yesterday? Farhan Lalji really, he didn't say anything about.
Said there wasn't a lot of interest outside of Edmonton, right? It's like an Edmonton story. Yeah.
So really, I would say, out of those, you said like Adams and Mayer, whatever, Bo Levi Mitchell, I would just bring Trey Ford back. He's so exciting. Like, he brought me to the stadium. I wanted to watch these games because Trey Ford was playing. He's such an exciting and electric quarterback, and having somebody who's Canadian, like, it's easy to root for. And in that sense, if you do have to pay him starting money, like full, like, I don't know how much money, the hundreds of thousands. If you have to pay him that much, you might as well go out and get a veteran. But if they could bring Trey Ford back at a reasonable price, then you might as well. And
because then you can build around and make the team that much more better at every position, not just at your quarterback, right?
Yeah, instead of paying $500,000 just at one position, right?
Yeah. Gager?
Do I want to see him back?
Like, yeah, if you were the GM, what would you do?
Well, do they even have a GM?
But that's why Joaquin Gage is named the GM.
Okay, if I'm named GM, I want to see the landscape. I got to see who is available, what's up with Vernon Adams Jr. I mean, Farhan really looked at if I want to talk to Trey Ford, obviously, but I think Farhan had a good point of other areas of concern with this team. Like I think if you're going to get Trey Ford, something has to be done with that offensive line too, right?
But that's a good point, because then you can bring Trey Ford cheaper,
and
then build around him.
I think so.
Imagine him with let's just say, I don't think the O-line was. I think the O-line was pretty good this year, but imagine he has the best O-line in the CFL.
We might have to punch up our resume and get in there.
All right, and the last one. Yesterday we saw Steven Stamkos return to Tampa Bay Lightning. He looks really weird in different colors. I sent you guys a link just in case for reference if you want to look. But who is some of the top players around the world that you've seen past or present in a weird uniform who is the top one where you looked at him and said, no, bro, that does not work in those colors?
The top one
is
always going to be Grant Fuhr in a Calgary Flames uniform.
Oh, I didn't even remember that.
It's terrible. And even Cujo, too. Like, Cujo, it's amazing because he transcends from, he looks good in, obviously, the St. Louis Blues from when he started to the Edmonton Oilers, to the Toronto Maple Leafs. And then after that, it just got weird. But Grant Fuhr... Yeah, Calgary Flames. Although Grant played in a few different places, the Flames one, and he had that Furlan stuff, it just was awkward.
Because people say Gretzky, but I love Gretzky in the LA colors. He looked awesome.
He looked awesome. And that's the first year they went black and silver too, right? So Raiders colors, they looked mean. It was badass.
For me, there was a few. I never liked Ray Bourque in Colorado. I thought that was just, and we all know why he went, and don't take anything away from him. He wanted to win, but that just never fit. Martin Brodeur in a Blues jersey.
That was weird.
Brett Favre in the New York Jets. Zach, what do you got?
Immediately, unfortunately, I didn't get to see this player in his heyday, but Dominic Hasek in a Senators jersey, which is very, when I look back, you always think he's He's a Red Wing. He's won the Cups with the Red Wings. And then more current, Marc-Andre Fleury on the Blackhawks. That gave me a stinker. Just when he signed that, like when he was on that team, it was just like, why? What are you doing? What are you doing, Fleury? And also wearing number 97 for the Leafs in his last season, I think it was, Joe Thornton.
Yeah.
Ew.
That's a good one.
Gross.
That's a good one. You forget the Hasek, his career start. He was 28 when he broke in, I think. He was a Blackhawk.
Yeah.
And he was there with Ed Belfour. And I think they went to the finals against, who did they go to the finals against? The Chicago, or they were close or something. And I remember talking to Brian Marchman at the time, and this is after a few casual beers, but he was getting mad about not having a Stanley Cup because he was adamant that if Mike Keenan pulled Belfour and kept him out and left Hasek in, they would have won a cup, and he'd have a ring.
Jerry Rice in the Seahawks, Shaq in the Celtics. We got a few here. Mike Modano in Detroit, great one by Corey Budd.
That's just sad because then you think of Babcock.
Yeah.
You know what? Why doesn't, like, if I'm Jim Nill, sorry to go off on this, but I was thinking about this the other day. This made me angry again. I would sign Mike Modano to one game at the end of the year. Hopefully it doesn't have anything to do with the game.
Yeah.
And he just comes, takes the draw and skates off. He can still skate. And he could probably just take a face off just to get to the 15.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. I would do that. And then he actually, I don't know, has he retired as a Dallas Star? Have they retired his jersey there yet?
I don't think they have.
I think that's what I would do. I would sign him for the last game of the year. Hopefully it doesn't mean anything. He takes the draw. He'll probably score, actually. The guy can still fly. And then just skates off so he gets to 15, and just the big middle finger to Babcock.
A few more. We got to get to break here. Adrian Peterson in the Lions jersey. Happy Bulin in Oilers silks. This one says Jordan and the Wizards was the big one. So keep those coming in. The conversation is good. Of course, top 6 for the Edmonton Oilers now without Connor McDavid. That does it up for hour 1 here. What do we have for thumbs up? Only 53. Connor McDavid is very upset. We're waiting for 97 so he can get some good
He's
juju.
just circling,
some good
too.
news.
He hasn't landed yet.
Yeah.
He's waiting to land. And
to 97. His rep's going to text me when we hit 97 so they can land down there at the International Airport. Hour 2 coming up. Beau Akey from the Barrie Colts, Oilers prospect, is coming up next, followed by Jason Strudwick, the one and only. And then also we'll have a qualifier for the EST Flyaway to LA, which is proudly presented by the 780. That's all coming up in hour 2 here on EST Afternoons on Edmonton Sports Talk.
Celebrating 70 years in the signage industry, William Huff Advertising is the most recognized name in the game. An in-house, one-stop shop for all of your design, print, and installation needs. William Huff provides quality graphic solutions for everyone. Here in our City of Champions and throughout the nation, they are the preferred signage partner entrusted by many of the biggest corporations, pro sports teams, and organizations to bring their identity to life. Recognize the name, get in the game. WilliamHuff.com.
Looking for a winning strategy for your retirement? Contact me, Joaquin Gage at K4 Financial, where expertise meets dedication. I will always look for a careful approach to your retirement, ensuring your financial future is secure. From tailored strategies to clear, actionable advice, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Don't leave your future to chance. Get in touch with me, Joaquin Gage, today at k4financial.ca or email joaquin.gage@k4financial.ca to start planning for a brighter future and a more secure retirement.
A&W has a deal for you. What's better than one A&W Mama Burger made with a perfectly seasoned grass-fed beef patty topped with pickles, a slice of onion, ketchup, mustard, and teen sauce served on a toasted sesame seed bun? 2 Mama Burgers for only $9.99. You can enjoy 2 of these delicious, mouth-watering Mama Burgers for only $9.99 at participating A&W restaurants in Edmonton, St. Albert, Sherwood Park, and Devon. What a deal! And to make it even more convenient for you, most A&W drive-thrus are open 24 hours.
There's 5 games in the NHL, including the Senators facing off against the Blues, the Kraken meeting the Canadiens, and the Flyers battling the Bruins. After that, the Rangers match up with the Caps before the Kings and Sharks duke it out from San Jose. And it's a 4-game slate in the NBA, opening up with the Nuggets and the Nets, along with the Mavericks visiting Minnesota to take on the Timberwolves. For the Raptors, Scotty Barnes will be out for tomorrow's game while he continues medical assessment on his right eye after taking an elbow late in the fourth quarter last night and missing overtime against the Nuggets. And down south, Stephon Diggs will miss the rest of the season after tearing his ACL Sunday. And elsewhere, Deontay Johnson is being traded from the Carolina Panthers to the Baltimore Ravens, marking the second time he's been traded this year, while the Colts bench Anthony Richardson to name Joe Flacco as this week's starter. For the World Series, the Dodgers have the Yankees on the brink of elimination with the chance to win it all tonight in New York. And in just a moment, Oilers prospect Beau Akey will join Hernan Salas and Joaquin Gage on EST Afternoons. I'm Zachary Kubish, keeping you up to date.
It's 2:05, hour 2, EST Afternoons. Joaquin Gage, Hernan Salas, and the birthday boy, Zach Kubish, the big 2-1. In the final segment, we'll check in on him and what his plans are for this crazy Tuesday night he's going to have.
Oh, my gosh. It's going to be like The Hangover.
Him and Trev.
They're a two-man wolf pack.
A two-man wolf pack, so we'll see what happens. Just ahead of Beau Akey, Oilers prospect and defenseman for the Barrie Colts. I know a lot of Oiler fans absolutely love this player. Great kid. Didn't participate in any games in the Young Stars or the preseason, but he's 9 games in down there in Barrie, and 2 goals, 3 assists, 10 penalty minutes, and a +2 Gager.
Yep.
So a guy that we could see up here maybe in 2-3 years, something like that. It's always takes a little bit longer for defensemen, doesn't it?
Definitely. There's a lot of learning for a lot of guys. It's very hard for guys to step in and succeed at right away. Even when they get to an age where they can get sent to the minors, you have to be 20 years old, right?
Yeah.
So even with those few extra years in junior, there is a massive going from kids to men is tough.
Right, as we bring in Oilers prospect and defenseman for the Barrie Colts, Beau Akey. Beau, how you doing this afternoon?
I'm good. How are you?
We're doing excellent. You're on with Joaquin and Hernan here. Beau, this year at camp, you did not participate in the Young Stars Classic. You didn't play in any preseason games as you were rehabbing your shoulder injury. But how was the experience in your second go-around with the big club here, just being around the team that was one win away from winning the Stanley Cup?
Yeah, it was great. You know, the guys around the room, they're always they're pretty serious and pretty dedicated to hockey, and it's an honor to be around those type of guys. You know, you can really learn from them.
Beau, I know it was a little bit different camp for you this year, but what did the Oilers say to you going back to Barrie? What is kind of their expectations? And for our listeners, how are things going down in Barrie this year? It seems like you're third in the conference right now. Is there a possibility? Is this it looks like a playoff team so far? Is that kind of the trajectory that you see for yourself and your Barrie Colt teammates?
Yeah, it's been going well. You know, we do have a really strong team here, and we're definitely trying to push for that number 1 and, you know, be that top dog in the conference. And then coming back to Barrie, you know, Edmonton just wanted me to play my game, you know, work on my defensive ability a little bit more, and really play that like pro defenseman style.
Hey, Beau, what kind of defenseman are you for maybe people that haven't watched you play yet? I mean, do you see time on the power play, or are you a PK guy, or are you a shutdown guy, or are you a little bit of both? You have some offensive side as well?
Yeah, I would say I'm a two-way defenseman. You know, I do play on the power play, but I also PK. You know, I try and be good in all areas of the game, transition, you know, carrying the puck, and the defensive zone.
So basically, Cale Makar. That's great, Beau. Thanks. That's going to make a lot of Edmonton Oilers fans happy. But no, I'm bugging you here. It's obviously tough sometimes coming back to junior with a lot of guys are at pro camps, and it does take a little bit more time to get everyone back and on the same page. Do you feel like your team? You said you're looking at that number one spot. Was there a bit of a waiting period before kind of things started to click in? And because I like what you say that you're looking for a number one spot. You've junior hockey's an interesting place as your windows for winning are very small. But I just a little bit more on your team and what are the Barrie Colts? What's their biggest strength?
Yeah, so this off season we made a bunch of trades and picked up some pretty key players to add to our already kind of medium/older team. And we added, I think our D core is our strongest. We've got a top talent in like Aitchison. Then we added Bertucci in the off season and Eliason just before the season. So we've got a bunch of NHL drafted guys and one going into the draft. And I think our D core is the strongest part of our team.
Oilers prospect and Barrie Colts defenseman Beau Akey joining us here on EST Afternoons. Beau, with the injury last season, you're out long term. Can you just talk to us about what you learned and how the process was, because it's probably not easy for a young player to be out that long.
Yeah, it was. I learned a lot. It was definitely tough being away from the game for that long. You've spent your whole life playing the game nonstop, playing in the summer and spring hockey, playing in the winters. So I definitely learned some patience and how to control myself while not playing hockey, and to utilize that downtime for maybe some better things to work on other parts of your body, maybe your legs while you're rehabbing the shoulder. So I would say the main thing I learned was patience.
Beau, I know this is jumping a little bit ahead, and as you've probably learned from being around some of these guys with the Edmonton Oilers, is kind of stay in the moment and taking it game by game. But when you look at the Edmonton Oilers, and obviously the goal here is to play in the NHL at some point sooner rather than later. But when you look at their lineup and you see the age of the defensemen, and being a young guy like yourself, is that a little bit more encouraging for you, knowing that it is possible in the next few years that there could be an opening in this Oilers defensive core lineup?
Definitely, every team, has those older veterans that, sooner or later might, retire from the game. And it's definitely a big opportunity for myself. When that opportunity comes, I'm just going to have to utilize the chances I'm given and play my best hockey.
Beau, is there a player right now in the NHL, a defenseman, that you can kind of, I don't want to say compare because that's unfair, but kind of same skill set as you that you can see yourself becoming in the NHL?
I definitely try to model my game after guys like Chris Letang and like Heiskanen. I think they both have a complete play style, and they're more of that two-way guy, but also have that offensive threat to be able to play on the power play.
Oh, that's great. Those two names are fantastic, especially Heiskanen. Beau, can you take us back to the draft in 2023? Obviously, you went 56 overall to the Oilers in the second round. What was that day like for you and your family? And did you have kind of a feeling it was going to be Edmonton?
It was exciting, and I talked to the Edmonton at the Combine, and we had a really good conversation, and I only had talked to them once, and it was at the Combine. So I wasn't necessarily set on anybody, but I definitely had a good feeling with Edmonton. Steve Stais talked to me, and he was really down to earth and really comforting in at the Combine. So they were my favorite, definitely going into the draft, and I was just honored to be selected by them.
And Beau, let's get to know you a bit here. Favorite team growing up?
My favorite team was LA because I loved Drew Doughty when I was a kid.
I was just going to ask you your favorite player, and obviously Drew Doughty. So LA and Drew Doughty, that's awesome. Beau, thank you for taking the time on an off day for you guys. All the best the rest of the season, and we hope to see you here at the next camp. And it's going to be fun tracking you. You're a hell of a player and a hell of an interview. Enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I appreciate the talk.
Thanks, Beau.
That's Beau Akey, Oilers prospect defenseman for the Barrie Colts. Nice kid, eh? Well, it's him and Sam O'Reilly. The Oilers got
Great,
something
man.
good
I
here.
hope these two knuckleheads remember us, so they when they finally get up here.
Drew Doughty, he's one of my favorite defensemen.
Yeah, I mean, this kid is highly sought after with the Edmonton Oilers. There's definitely plans for him. I like what he said. Kids just seem so mature right now. Like is he 19 right now? I mean, it'll be great for the Barrie Colts to have a really good season. Just get some of those playoff experiences. I'm not sure. I tried to find anything if he's talked about with World Juniors at all or anything like that. I'm not sure, but it's always fun to see prospects on the highest stage, right?
I'm just glad he didn't say Toronto for his.
Well, I know. I was worried about that. He's from Waterloo. I'm like, oh, we're opening a can of worms here.
You know who else is from Waterloo? Trey Ford. So far this year, he's played in 9 games for the Barrie Colts. He has 2 goals, 3 assists, 10 PIMs, and a +2. Last year, he was only able to play 14 games, Gage, where he had 9 points. And then his best year was 2 years ago, 66 games, 47 points. And he also added 5 in 13 playoff games. So this kid, I know a lot of the people that track the prospects and stuff absolutely love this pick by the Edmonton Oilers. It's unfortunate that a few setbacks with the shoulder injury last year that led into this camp that didn't let us see him play in any games. But it's something like I want to continue to do, check in on some Oiler prospects, especially guys that have a really good shot at being here in the few years or so.
Those are quite impressive numbers for a defenseman in major junior at that age too. Like that's a lot of games. Hopefully he can get back to that, that 60 game mark. And it's always tough when you lose a season, right?
Yeah, especially at that age.
At that age,
right?
it's very and a defenseman, right? So he's probably having the time of his life right now, not having to sit with the physio guy on a bike for the whole season.
C-Run says, can he play World Juniors? I don't see why not. I don't know if he's on the radar.
He missed last year too.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So, I think so because he's 19 now, going into his 20-year-old year. So, I think he's eligible. Whether he's on that radar or not, I don't know.
Yeah, so you know what we're going to do, guys? We're going to do the keyword because Struddy said 225 or after because he's just getting off the ice. So we got time here. We might as well, get our next qualifier. So get ready, Nasties. 780-218-9999. It's time to text in the keyword for the EST Flyaway to LA, which is presented by the 780. The 780 is a homegrown local shop right here in Edmonton. 780 is both the shop name and their in-house clothing brand that celebrates all things unique to E-Town. They also work with close to 100 local vendors from the 780 area code to help promote and get their brands off the ground. Check them out online at 780.com or at any of their 5 locations at Southgate, Londonderry, Kingsway, St. Albert, and the Outlet Mall by the airport. And the keyword for today, October 29th. NHL.
Oh, nice.
Doesn't get easier than that, right? Doesn't get any easier than that. So text the word NHL to 780-218-9999, and Zach will pick one qualifier for the EST Flyaway to LA. And for tomorrow, Jamin Pelly in studio, 120.
Can't wait.
He's a beauty, man.
Yeah.
We have some fun with the big fella there. So he's going to come in and hang out with us after the season's done. And he's a big gamer. He's a big dog guy. There's just a lot to talk to him about.
Perfect.
So that's coming up tomorrow. And we'll also try to get a UFC guest this week as it's here in Edmonton on Saturday. And our producer, Zach is a huge UFC fan. He doesn't know he's going to do the interview.
Yeah.
Though. Me and you're just going to sit here.
I'm not doing anything.
What?
That's all coming up here on EST Afternoons. Up next, around 2:25, 7 minutes from now, it is the one and only Jason Strudwick, and we'll have our qualifier. That's all coming up next on EST Afternoons with Joaquin, Gage, and Hernan Salas.
The NHL has 7 games on tap, including the Rangers and Caps, the Wild against the Penguins, and the Ducks battling the Islanders. We also got the Bruins facing the Flyers, and the Blues meeting the Senators. In basketball, the Nets tip off with the Nuggets. The Timberwolves see the Mavericks, while the Kings head to Utah to take on the Jazz. After that, it's Steph Curry and the Warriors hosting the Pelicans. And tomorrow, the Raptors will be without Scotty Barnes in their game against the Hornets, with Barnes having his right eye being assessed after taking an elbow last night against the Nuggets. Over in the NFL, Stephon Diggs has torn his ACL, sidelining him for the remainder of the Texans seasons, while the Ravens went out and acquired Deontay Johnson from the Carolina Panthers. This week, Joe Flacco gets the call to start for the Colts, while rookie Anthony Richardson hits the sideline on the bench. The PWHL looks to add 2 expansion teams for next season, and cities like Philadelphia, Washington, Detroit, and Quebec City are all potential candidates. And in the World Series tonight, the Dodgers have the Yankees on the brink of elimination with the chance to win it all tonight in New York. Just after the break, we ring up our qualifier for the EST Flyweight to LA. I'm Zachary Kubish for your sports update.
Ready for an unforgettable sports experience? It's the EST Flyaway to LA. Presented by the 780. Listen daily for the EST Flyaway keyword. Once you hear it, text us at 780-218-9999 for your chance to qualify to fly to LA. Round trip flights for 2, hotel and car rentals, all to go see Edmonton face off against either LA or Anaheim. Plus, experience the brand new Intuit Dome as the Clippers tip off against the Warriors, and top it all off with the Rams kicking off against the Cardinals at SoFi Stadium. This is more than just a trip. This is the ultimate sports experience. The EST Flyaway to LA, presented by the 780 and Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Hey Edmonton, ready to take advantage of lower rates and better pricing? South Fort Chevrolet in Fort Saskatchewan has you covered. From rugged trucks to sleek SUVs. And with over 40 years in business, you can trust that you're getting the best deal on your new ride. As the proud title sponsor of The Nielsen Show, EST listeners can drive a little to save a lot with South Fort Chevrolet's transparent pricing and down-to-earth sales team. Visit us today in Fort Saskatchewan or online at southfortchev.com.
Celebrating 70 years in the signage industry, William Huff Advertising is the most recognized name in the game. An in-house, one-stop shop for all of your design, print, and installation needs. William Huff provides quality graphic solutions for everyone. Here in our City of Champions and throughout the nation, they are the preferred signage partner entrusted by many of the biggest corporations, pro sports teams, and organizations to bring their identity to life. Recognize the name, get in the game. WilliamHuff.com.
Welcome back to EST Afternoons. It is 2:22. Let's get those thumbs up. We said 97 for some good luck charm for Mr. Connor McDavid, and it seems that Oiler fans don't want Connor McDavid to be healthy.
I guess not.
Nope, 62. It's disappointing. Just ahead of Jason Strudwick. Absolute beauty. Still hasn't picked up his Estes.
Oh, is he still waiting to come in here?
Yeah. He has yet to pick it up, so we'll see if he has any plans on coming down. He's a pretty busy guy, though. But
He's a very, very busy guy.
He's a very, very busy boy. So Beau Akey was awesome. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I'm trying to find if he was invited to any of the World Junior things. I can't.
He wouldn't have because he was
just still rehab. But usually they have like a meeting in the summer.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes. I'm not sure. I didn't want to ask him and say no. So,
yeah.
I mean, the more the merrier, right? If you can get as many Oilers prospects at the World Juniors, it's such a fun tournament to watch, first of all. I mean, when you can pry your eyes away from the Spengler and listening to Dusty. I'm not sure if Dusty's even doing that this year.
Yeah, that's a good question. Speaking of our boss, he's down for the count, eh? The flu hit him hard.
Well, he was peacocking around here when everyone else had the sniffles, saying that he's the model of perfect health. So
yeah,
a little Chunga's revenge.
It always gets you, man.
Oh yeah,
it always gets you. Who's our qualifier here, buddy?
Normology's ringing in.
Oh, Normology. How you doing, Normology?
Oh, not bad, not bad. Just enjoying the afternoon show with smoking the heat.
Nice. You ever been to LA, my friend?
Oh, years ago when I was a kid. Barely remember it. So
barely remember it. If you win this trip, who would you be taking with you?
Oh, definitely the wife. But if Grumpy Cat is lucky enough, he's part of my crew. So
okay. Awesome. So if you win, it'd be flight for two to LA, hotel and rental car from Boxing Day to the 30th of December. You'd watch Clippers, Warriors, Rams, Cardinals, and the Edmonton ice hockey team in either LA or Anaheim. Of those three leagues, which one would you be the most excited to watch?
Oh, NBA for sure. That new arena looks pretty incredible.
Yeah,
Never been to an NBA game.
Yeah, that'd be great. Kawhi would probably be on resting or whatever they call it. Yeah.
Load management.
Load management.
Just like Dusty. Dusty's on load management right now.
All right, Normology, all the best. The winner will be announced November 29th during the morning show. Hopefully it's your name that's called, my friend.
All right, thanks a lot, guys.
All right, Normology, the next qualifier for texting in NHL. Your next chance to qualify on the Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Milne, and we'll continue to qualify up until November 28th with the grand prize on the morning show. Good times, man. We're just waiting for Struddy now. We got invaded by the WSTers, the Hustlerites, which is always awesome. So if Winnipeg Jets fans have to get us to 97, I appreciate it.
Oh, that'd be great.
I'll be grateful. But Oiler fans, come on. It's your captain, guys.
They might be a little bit upset. You know what would make them feel better after suffering that first Jets loss of the season? Is giving us a thumbs up.
Yeah.
That'll make you feel better.
It's nice when you lose your first game 9 games in, eh?
Yeah. I wonder if that's...
and they made it close.
Yeah. I wonder if it's as panicky as it would be here.
You know what? Like, I love their illegal curve post-game show, and when things are bad, like those three are... it's good. Yeah. And their chat is just as... It's the Nazis. Yeah, it's just everybody losing their mind. Trade this guy, trade that guy. Yeah. 74 thumbs up, 26 away from 100. We're trying to get to 97 for good juju for our captain, Connor McDavid, who we don't know. What's Gage? I don't want to assume because we don't know. We don't know if it's an ankle, if it's a knee, if it's foot, or you know what I mean? Like we don't know. We just know it's lower body.
What would you? I mean, I don't see any harm in like thinking what it is. Like, well, what do you think it is?
Ankle.
Yeah, I think it's knee.
Okay.
We should ask Struddy.
As we bring in Jason Strudwick from Got Your Back podcast, of course, former NHLer and absolute beauty. Struddy, how you doing?
Good. And let's talk about Zach for a minute. Zach calls me. He sounded so nervous. I'm like, buddy, I put my legs on my pants the same way as you, one leg at a time. Like, am I your biggest guest? Like, holy jeez.
Well, you are
talking like I was like Wayne Gretzky.
Struddy, it's his birthday today, and we told him. He goes, guess what, Zach? You get what? Guess what we got you for your birthday? 15 seconds with Jason Strudwick on the phone. The guy went nuts. Like it was unbelievable. So you made his life right now.
Yeah.
He's as bright as an apple. He's
the worst
blushing.
Part is he's like, "Hi, James. Are you ready to go?" I'm like, "My name's Jason."
Right.
Hey, Struddy, you were pre-med. Your pre-med skills. Connor McDavid's injury. We're trying to figure out what it is. Ankle, knee. When you saw that, what are you thinking here?
Yeah, it's always dangerous, right? Like I was obviously going to become a doctor, then I decided to go over. So I don't like to use my powers to for like, the wrong way. But since you're asking, you know what? It was a really hard one to pick up because it looked innocent enough. It wasn't like a really intense hit or a massive slide into the board. So, I honestly, I think it might be his knee. It might be his knee because it, just the way he kind of lifted his leg off the ground and skated off and maybe wasn't a lot of pain. But honestly, I have no idea. Has no one tweeted out what it is yet? Like, I haven't seen anything. No one sure?
No one's 100% sure, Struddy. So we're just, I asked Gage, and Gage, I think, we both said something different. So we're just guessing. Here.
I'm with you, Struddy. I think it is a knee, but let's jump in the flying DeLorean and fire up the flex capacitor. When you were injured, I know it was basically a day of mourning if you couldn't be in the lineup. But what was it like when you were on the multitude of NHL teams that you played for, and if one of the stars went out, what was it like in the dressing room?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I got injured a few times, and whenever I got injured, our team would cheer so loudly. Like, they were so happy. There's like that nice cheer where you're like, hey, you tap the boards and the guy gets up. Our guys were high-fiving. I think at one time I saw tears rolling down a forward's eyes, like, I'll finally get a pass this year, So that was a little hard. Even the coach gives you a high five going back. He's like, take your time getting back.
Don't rush him.
Don't rush him back.
No, take your time. Take your time. We're fine. So anyways, when you had a star, go down, it's always unsettling, so even someone like a top 6 forward or top 4D, those are generally hard to replace, right? And no disrespect to the rest of us, that are in the bottom, but those are the hard ones to replace. But I think for a game or two, a week or two, someone can moonlight up there and kind of fake it till you make it. Right, you can get up there. But I found after a week, maybe a little bit more than a week, 3-4 games, people start realizing you know what, actually I'm not as good as I thought I was. I'm not a top 6 forward, I'm not a top 4D. And then it becomes an issue. So the Oilers are lucky that they replace one of the greatest center or the greatest center in the world with one of the greatest centers in the world, right? So Leon steps in. But then after that, everyone's got to step up a little bit. Everyone's got to find a little more gusto, and someone has to pop into the top 6 that maybe hasn't been there. So I'm not sure how you guys set it up, but do they pull Paul Colton up again? Do they put Nuge up there? Does Skinner jump up? Or a couple of them have to jump up. So what does that look like? And I'll be interested to see how it does shake out. And then do you call up someone like a Philp, or do you call up Savoy to add a little more speed kind of to your lineup? So there are a couple options for Knobloch to do. I think number one, I feel more comfortable kind of making a call. Let's say it's 2 games, or let's say it's through the weekend, right? So they play Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, or Sunday, Monday, whatever it is. Let's say it's 3 games. I'd probably give you a different answer than if it's going to be, let's say, 3-4 weeks.
Struddy, in talking about guys moving up and down, a lot of our texters are saying Enrique can move up and play with Nugent Hyman. Where do you prefer Ryan Nugent-Hopkins at this stage in his career, on the wing or at center?
Well, the nice thing about having guys that can play both is that you can put them either place.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big, you look at some winning teams, they often have guys that can moonlight wingers or centers. And I think that's important. So right now, I think he needs to be a center. I think when they're when they're healthy, they have 3 centers. Then he can be a winger. So I think though for now, he is your center. He becomes your second line center. And I think, Gage, you said it, I'd put Hyman beside him. I'd put Hyman with Nuge, and then I'd have Draisaitl, Skinner, and Arvidsson, and then that left spot on the second line, that one would be, as they say in French class, TBD. I'd probably put Pogols in there to start with, just put a bigger body on them. But because I think you still have to have Henrique on that third line, but it's not like Henrique is killing it offensively either.
Yeah.
So maybe you push him up to spark him up, right? That's the problem. Like, for this to happen now, no one's really rolling. You know, who's the guy that you're like, oh, this guy's on fire? I don't know that there's a player on the team we could say that about. So it's not as easy to say, hey, we're going to put player A with these B and C, and player A is going to lift these guys up right now. I don't think that player is out there right now.
Struddy, it's 10 games in, and what would you say has been the strength of the Oilers so far in this in this time, and where has the team kind of lacked? Like, what would you have liked to have seen more of in this first 10-game segment?
I don't know that I can really say anything positive about any part of their game. You know, and I'm not trying to be funny. Like, it's if you said to me, what's been their best part of their game, I can't really say one. I guess they've been decent, limiting massive chances against, I guess, but that is a bit of a wishy-washy answer. So I can't answer your question, Gager. On the flip side, I think they got so much energy out of their penalty kill in the past, from, let's say, Christmas till Game 7 last year, and their penalty kill just isn't there, right? It's not there, and, you know, they still have some of the same people, but on D, they're missing, you know, is it Darnay, is it CC, and it's them, but it's also their size. You know, you look at some of the guys that have taken some of those spots, you know, not quite as big, you know, not as experienced, and that PK brought so much energy and kind of just a purpose for that bottom six and some of those D-men that they haven't found yet. And it's, you know, it's almost every night they're giving up some kind of issue on the penalty kill, and the power play is not going. So I think that is a big issue, and I think missing Vander Kane. And I know he hasn't played, so you can't say he's played bad, but they miss him. He's a pretty big part of this team when he's rolling, and the attitude he brings, they don't have that anywhere.
Hey, Struddy, I know you guys broke it down on the podcast yesterday and in every post-game show here. That game yesterday, right off the first face-off, the Oilers it seemed like they were disinterested in that game. They were just awful from start to finish, weren't they?
Really tough game, you know, really, really tough. And they actually looked, oddly enough, they looked a lot like the Penguins a few nights earlier.
Yeah.
You know, the Penguins, I think I was wrong. At first, I thought they'd paid $2 to Public Skate. Then I did some research. It was actually $1.75. They paid $1.75 to Public Skate at Rogers Arena. And I think they got their money's worth, guys. They got $2 worth. So they got the discount because they had the volume, right? When you have 22 players do that, you get a volume discount. So the Oilers did it. They didn't have a good night last night. You know, in their own zone, I don't like. I have a hard time when I see teams puck watching or puck focused and not seeing what's going behind them. And then I'm not sure if there's an issue with the skate sharpener, but no one was stopping and starting their own zone. It was a lot of Dave Pelche big curls, right, twirls. So tough night. Tough night for the Oilers. But there's going to be nights like that.
Yeah.
You know, and some people are attributing to the McDavid loss. Yeah, I think it can rattle you, but. You know, you're still a decent team. It's not like it's, you know, like LeBron James, Cleveland Cavaliers, LeBron leaves and you're like, look around, there's no one else. There's still a few other guys on the team that can help out. So I wonder if this McDavid injury isn't the catalyst that we saw like last year with the coaching change. Just kind of shock the guys because they're in a slumber, right? It wakes them up, they get going, and they start playing more consistently like, you know, they can play.
I'm shocked that you're throwing David Pelche under the bus and actually basically applying as the Edmonton Oilers' new strength and conditioning coach. That's amazing, Struddy. But, I'm just into the chat here, Struddy, and it's kind of piqued my interest a little bit. But Lars Y says, has anybody seen Freddie Freeman and Jason Strudwick in the same room together? Are you actually in New York right now, Struddy?
Freddie, yeah. I'm in between my BP. I've just been launching bombs. What does he have, 3 bombs? On one ankle, he's got a sprained ankle. That must have been a really badly sprained ankle he had for baseball. You know, when you see people missing games because of general body soreness, you know it's a gritty sport. And you know, Freddie's back after a bad ankle.
Oh.
I couldn't believe that. I've never seen that general body soreness baseball player out. Wow, that must be hard. That must be a serious issue.
Struddy, great stuff as always. I know you're busy. Thank you for taking the time today. And don't forget, we have your Estes Award still here at the headquarters. You got to stop by and see it. And grab it, I guess.
Well, you know what? Well, since Zach called me James, the least he can do is at least bring it to the south side. Like, tell that guy to clean his act up on his birthday. Like, nervous Nelly. Jeez.
Oh, it's great. It's Struddy. Thank you so much, buddy. We'll chat soon, man. All the best.
Thanks, Struddy.
See you, boys. Anytime. See ya.
That's James Strudwick.
Good to have James on the show. He's great, isn't he?
Zach, put your mic on here, buddy. Okay. And listen, when I started in the radio business, I got nervous around Struddy and other fellas. Were you nervous?
Not very much. No, I called him and he said something and it's not, and I was, hello? Like I came, because I was stuttering my words. I was like, hey, and then he went, and I went, hello, hello, and I didn't call him James. I'd put $1.75 on it, but that's hilarious.
He's just bugging.
Struddy's a beauty. Yeah, Struddy's a beauty. So,
have you ever met him in person?
I have not. No, I haven't had the pleasure of doing that.
He is an absolute,
he's a
wonderful person.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a birthday gift. Thank you, guys.
Hey, anything for you, buddy.
The least you guys could do.
Rob from the Grove says that James is fantastic.
Oh, James is good. Yeah. James is he's good.
All right. Coming up next, we'll hear more from the birthday boy, what his plans are, the big plans for the big 2-1 here, and if he got any gifts yet.
Oh, yeah.
We should have got a cake for him. We failed.
We did fail.
We failed as an organization today.
Well, I think everyone's just got to. I know Matawanek doesn't like to do this, and he is drunk with power right now with Dusty being gone.
Yeah.
But we should have everyone's birthday up on a list.
And we should always have something to eat or something. Like, Matty dropped the ball. Way to go, buddy.
Yeah.
You didn't get a cake for Zach's birthday,
or Gagers,
or Tommy's,
yeah, or
Jay
Jay's
just had one too.
Yeah, all this month
because you're the boss.
Or you know what?
There's a higher boss than me.
Yeah, but he's sick.
So how many birthdays are there? Like right now, there's a lot. Like myself, Zach.
Yeah,
I know, but
3 this month.
But I'm saying maybe because it's the end of the month, maybe we
want to do monthly birthdays.
And then
just for this
birthday's
month,
coming up.
It would be too many back to back to back. You only have so much cake.
Yeah.
Maddie's is coming up too.
Well, in a while.
I know
that was the last
is
cake
coming up soon.
That was the last cake here, though, that I remember. And Dusty brought it. It was Dusty, so he actually thought about us.
The Italians.
Thanks for telling me that. I was crushed for the next 9 hours.
Imagine if Maddie brought us some pastries from the Italian Center.
That would be pretty good.
Donuts.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I think it would be fun, man. Celebration. You don't have to say how old you are. Well, why do
he's turning 25?
Why do you have a problem telling when your birthday is? Okay, well,
I know what it is.
I know what it is.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be back to close out the show and set up the Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Milne here on EST Afternoons. Joaquin, Gage, Hernan, Salas, and a sports update right now with the birthday boy.
And yeah, it was Cass's birthday yesterday too. Waiting the status on McDavid's injury, the Oilers have recalled Drake Caggiula and Noah Philp from the Bakersfield Condors. And on schedule tonight, the Rangers meet the Caps. The Wild are against the Penguins, and the Ducks battle the Islanders. We also got the Flyers facing the Bruins, and the Blues meeting the Senators. In basketball, the Nets tip off with the Nuggets. The Timberwolves see the Mavericks, and the Kings head to Utah to take on the Jazz. After that, it's Steph Curry and the Warriors hosting the Pelicans. And tomorrow, Scotty Barnes will be out for the Raptors. Well, he gets his right eye evaluated after taking an elbow and missing overtime last night against the Nuggets. Over in the NFL, Stephon Diggs has torn his ACL, sidelining him for the remainder of the Texans seasons, while the Ravens went out and acquired Deontay Johnson from the Carolina Panthers. And this week, Joe Flacco gets a call to start for the Colts, with rookie Anthony Richardson getting benched It's the Yankees looking to stay alive in the World Series, with the Dodgers holding New York 3-0 with a chance to win it all from the Big Apple. Right after the break, it's the final segment of EST Afternoons. On this Tuesday edition, I'm Zachary Kubish, keeping you up to date.
You want the heavy hitters on your team, both on and off the ice. If you've been injured in a car accident, call the heavy hitters of injury law. James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers. With over 200 years of combined injury law experience, their precedent-setting lawyers are ready to help. Locally owned and proud Edmonton Oiler fans, James H. Brown and Associates wants to support you with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, head to jameshbrown.com.
780 is just another lame-ass, low-budget local shop. Homegrown right here in Edmonton. 780 is both the shop name and their in-house clothing brand that celebrates all things unique to E-Town. They also work with close to 1,000 local vendors from the 780 to help promote and get their brands off the ground. Check them out online at 780.com or at any of their 5 locations at Southgate, Londonderry, Kingsway, St. Albert, and the Outlet Mall by the airport.
Looking for a winning strategy for your retirement? Contact me, Joaquin Gage at K4 Financial, where expertise meets dedication. I will always look for a careful approach to your retirement, ensuring your financial future is secure. From tailored strategies to clear, actionable advice, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Don't leave your future to chance. Get in touch with me, Joaquin Gage, today at k4financial.ca or email joaquin.gage@k4financial.ca to start planning for a brighter future and a more secure retirement.
It's 2:45. Welcome back to EST Afternoons here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Portions of this hour brought to you by the Canadian Brewhouse. Book your holiday party at the CBH today. Your ultimate destination for events, parties, fundraisers, and more. 'Tis the season to celebrate. Visit and book now at thecanadianbrewhouse.com. William Huff Studios. Maddie's here still fixing the decorations. Zach?
Hernan?
Any gifts yet?
Yeah, well, my friend in BC sent me a $25 Starbucks gift card,
Nice.
which was cool. Yeah, they
That's thoughtful.
got that today. Apparently, Starbucks, you get a free birthday drink as well. They didn't give it to me, which was kind of sad, but I got the gift card anyway. And then my mom gave me, I don't know, some small stuff like candy corn, some of my favorite Halloween snacks,
Ooh,
and then
geez.
that's about it right now. But once I get home, I think I'll have a cheesecake waiting for me.
Wow.
And I don't know what else.
Any plans? You going
buddies?
out tonight? I know it's only Tuesday, but
No, it's a Tuesday. Probably gonna sit at home. Maybe watch Dana White's Contender series. Yeah, I don't know. It's a chill day. It's just another day for me. So
few brewskis.
yeah, go home, spend some time with the fam. Maybe watch a spooky movie or two.
Special dinner or anything? Like your favorite dish or?
No, nothing like that. Maybe my family has some surprise for me, but I went out this past weekend on Saturday because it was my dad's birthday that day too. So we kind of had a joint dinner and we went to Olive Garden and it was
Nice.
killer, man. So many breadsticks. Never been there in my life before, honestly.
If you could request one special dinner, what would it be?
Wow. Well, you guys, Gager has been talking up that pho a lot. So I don't know. I tried that, but you mean like
No, like
if
something
I
that you
had-
love. Yeah. If someone said,
something
Zach, I'll
crazy?
get you whatever you want today, what would it be?
a beef Wellington. Something like, I don't know. I'm not a picky guy. I like a lot of food. Seafood, anything seafood. So yeah, like shrimp or lobster. Anything expensive.
You like
know?
mussels?
Oh, I love mussels. I got the mussels right
I
here.
like
I don't
you
need any more.
I like you even more. As someone who likes seafood, I have a lot of respect for Gage.
Yeah, no, that's
You're a seafood guy?
of course.
Yeah.
I did take a break though. I watched that Seaspiracy documentary on Netflix.
Yeah.
That's I did my part. I didn't no seafood for a year.
Really? I
You-
love seafood, man.
I know. So don't watch that documentary then.
I won't. I won't watch any documentaries that'll ruin food for me.
Yeah.
And we've hit 97, thumbs up.
Whoa.
Nice.
That means that we're going to get good news on Connor McDavid.
Yeah, that's like Groundhog Day.
I will say this, though. We needed help from Winnipeg Jets fans, which we appreciated. But Oiler fans, come on. They should have been done before they joined the show.
Preemptively liked. You could do it. I mean, it's pre-scheduled on the YouTube, so if you don't have the time while the show's on,
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
duck back in, or if you're listening on the pod, boost it a little bit, huh?
Hey, you know who else has a birthday today, Gager? Lance Stroll.
Oh.
Yeah.
He gets to drive an F1 car for another year, I guess is what he got. So,
Yeah.
no, I mean, look.
He's had a good life.
I am going to reserve my judgment on Lance Stroll until next season.
Okay.
Because the Adrian Newey effect, he can start helping with the car, I believe, in March of next year. And obviously this is more geared towards 2026 season.
Yeah.
But let's see what happens when the famous Adrian Newey gets, because look, that car isn't competitive. It looked good for a while there, and it seemed like Lance was moving up the ladder. But you said, like, Alonso is a great driver, and he had a DNF because they had to retire the car. But I'm gonna save it, buddy. I'm gonna save it, and I'll rip him if he sucks. Then
I'll ask you this then. So if you put Lance Stroll in a Ferrari, is he still winning? Because I think the car has a lot to do with it, because some are superior than others, obviously. But you still have to be a very smart and good driver.
Yeah. And so do I see him, because essentially Checo's had the same car as Max, right? And I think you could say over the last 2 seasons, Checo's struggled.
Yeah.
So I don't really know, because it did seem like Lance was a lot more competitive when Aston Martin seemed to figure it out 2 years ago. So I'm going to say yes. I think he does become a little bit competitive, because he did what everyone else did in the lower levels.
Yeah.
Like, he won F2. He's a good driver. But the ultimate test is, I think, being a little bit competitive with inferior engineering, so to speak, is part of it. And we haven't seen that from him, but it's not like Alonso's setting the world on fire either. But let's just wait and see.
Yeah, it's. I want to see it, because I wanted this guy. I remember back in the day at 1260, I did racing segments with Eric Thomas, and he'd send me like all the notes, because I didn't know squat about racing at the time. And I'd always ask him about Lance Stroll, and he'd laugh. Then after he'd tell me like he's not at the top, right?
Yeah.
Like he's driving the lesser car, so it's rare that he's ever going to win a race, right? Mm-hmm. So it's funny that it's been that long and he's still there. Because you see guys like, a lot of guys since we started watching 4 or 5 years ago have lost their seat.
Yeah, there's a lot gone. But as Tim Hernan mentioned weeks back, that look, Fernando Alonso is one of the greatest drivers ever, and Lance Stroll in the same car is only a few tenths off.
Yeah.
But now I think you got to kind of look at it as if they get the car becomes a lot more competitive and they're challenging for races, and if Alonso's still beating Lance on a regular basis, then you got, like, Alonso can't keep driving. And then you got to bring someone in, some young guys, I think.
But as long as his dad's there, his dad's not going to get rid of his own kid.
I don't know. See the way he looks at him sometimes?
Where did I go wrong with
Oh,
you?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you haven't watched the latest season of Drudge, Lawrence is he's next level. Like,
well, there's one clip in the early Drive to Survive, and Stroll's like, "Oh, we should be on the waves." I'm like, "Bro, you have a really good life, man.
No.
Like, stop complaining."
No. There was one. It was a couple years ago where Lance did post a funny picture of his dad asleep in the private jet. And he was like checking to see if he was still like alive. And he goes, "Oh, that inheritance money's all coming soon." Or he said, checking about the inheritance. But that was kind of funny. But
his dad looks scary.
Yeah, I mean, I would love for Lance to, because having a Canadian be successful and challenge,
awesome.
We'd be all over it.
Yeah. Phyllis says, happy Happy birthday, Zach. Phyllis, thank you for bringing on the crew here. To now we're well over 100. We're at 109. Redbeard, happy birthday, Zach. James B. also on a happy birthday as well. Andrea on the inbox says happy birthday, Zach. Kamloops J says, my God, to be 21 again. Happy birthday, Zach Attack. You can drink in the U.S. now.
I do have shoes older than you, Zach. Like it's.
Oh, 21, man. That's a long time ago for me, man. Long time ago.
Yeah, that was my first year pro.
Wow.
Jesus. Wow.
How the time flies. Hey, and felt like I was 18 yesterday.
Turn your mic on.
Hey, don't forget about the EST pop-up store. You can check it out at edmontonsportstalk.com. Get those orders in.
Oh, also, if you're on the YouTube, link for merch is in the description.
Nice.
Oh, perfect.
Good job, Zach.
Excellent, Zach.
Not just the birthday boy.
No. If you miss parts of the show, you can always download Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcast. Or go back and watch on YouTube. We had a great show. Shout out to Beau Akey. If you missed him, a great interview, great kid, Oilers prospect, defenseman for the Barrie Colts. And Jason Strudwick had me in tears. I haven't been in tears laughing in a long time, and he's always an absolute beauty.
James.
I got text from buddies saying, "Man, Struddy's a beauty."
Just James Strudwick, always. He's a show stealer, that's for sure.
James Strudwick. And then if you missed it in the first hour, we did highlights, lowlights. I'm gonna be honest, it wasn't pretty. It was pretty ugly, to put it nicely. And then we did the heat and smoke segment. Who's your top 6? Now that McDavid is more than likely out.
The birthday boy did mention who has been called up with Philp and Kajula. So.
Oh, I didn't even hear that. Sorry, I was talking to Maddie. So.
I listen to whatever comes out of Zach's mouth.
Because he respects me.
Jesus. Oh, Zach, where'd you see that, man?
Elliot Friedman on Twitter, 30 seconds after he posted
It's not that I don't trust you. I just want to see what he...
No, it's clear now. No.
It's see what he said. So Drake Kajula and Noah Philp. Kajula had a good camp.
Really good.
He's a guy that's not going to be stunned about what's coming his way.
Was he good, or is he just an NHL guy playing in inferior competition?
He's a tweener now, right? So Kajula last played for the Oilers on December 29th, 2018. He was a good little player when he came up, man.
Yeah. It was. He was one of those guys where he was counted on, I think, a little bit too much in that part of his career.
And he wasn't that kind of player.
No. Now I think he kind of, as he's gotten older, he can still get around. He's a good skater, right? So that bottom 6 role, I think, suits him.
So why
quite well.
2?
Because they can.
Because they can now, right?
Yeah.
And then you have an extra, so now guys are even more on notice. Like, for example, if Janmark has a game like he did against Carolina.
This is where you want the team to be at consistently on a regular basis, is just that pressure from underneath, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just got light the fire a little bit under some, although it makes it uncomfortable, but I think it's necessary. And
Find the most loyal consumers. Contact us today and see how our team on Edmonton Sports Talk can score the biggest goals for your business. With various advertising options available, email business@edmontonsportstalk.com or head to our website, edmontonsportstalk.com.